Welcome back, everybody. Hope you guys had a great draft weekend. Before we start our rankings for the week, our draft guide is live. FSE, the letters, draftguide.com. Go check it out. I posted yesterday. As you're hearing this on Monday, it has everything you could ever want to dominate your rookie drafts. But with that being said, we still got to bring you the big facts this week to dominate your rookie draft. So today we have, I just copied Nick. We have our quarterback rankings. You'll see them in the middle of the screen. I'm not even going to try and point. Those are our consensus top 10. Today we're just going to break down our consensus top 5. And we obviously all have different rankings for the 10 or 5. So we're going to kind of break down why we might have them in certain spots. How you guys doing?
Marvelous.
Doing well. Sorry.
Good.
Yeah, doing well. Just excited that my Cowboys came out with such a haul.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. Okay, so to start off our consensus, we have Joe Burrow at the 1. I'm not for sure if it was close to Joe Burrow or 2 at the 1. So I know that out of us, I know me and Tyler have 2 at 1. Not a knock on Joe Burrow by any means. And then you two, Danny and Bush, have Joe Burrow at your 1. So we'll start off. You guys can make a case for Burrow. We'll make a case for Tua, just to kind of give both sides of the story here.
Yeah, just for the record, they're the 1 and 2, so like they're pretty.
They're
much
both
in
excellent players.
Yeah,
Let me just say that. Like I'll start with why I have Burrow 1. For starters, I think the situation's a little better. Like the offensive line's a little better. The receivers are a little better. I trust the Dolphins coaching staff more though, which is a benefit in Tua's favor. And to me, the tiebreaker is just Burrow is going to play sooner. So that's the reason. I think they're similar from a talent perspective across the board. Situation similar. Burrow's going to play sooner, so I have him 1.
I'll make the line case quickly for Tua. Bengals were the 30th offensive line last year per PFF, and the Dolphins were the 32nd. The difference is the Dolphins added 4 offensive linemen and with high pick value, and the Bengals added 1, and it was in the 6th round. So
well, they added Williams last year, who didn't get to play.
You're still counting on that. So that's two. Okay, so I'll give you that. So there's 2 guys. Both teams, if you include Williams, both drafted 1 in the 1st round. Dolphins added a 2nd, and a few others scattered out throughout the draft. I like the Dolphins staff. Again, like you said, the Dolphins staff more than I like the Bengals staff. I trust them more. I think they'll develop Tua really well. I think he's an end-of-the-year kind of guy where long-term future we'll see Tua as the much better option.
The thing with Burrow to me is just like obviously people are going to point out, oh yeah, the 1 year in production, blah blah. There's a difference between being a 1-year wonder and having the single best year ever. Like that's a huge discrepancy to me. Like when people try to say, oh yeah, I'd rather do it because he did it 3 years in college. It doesn't make sense to me because we're just seeing like Burrow legit had the best year we've ever seen.
He wasn't Mitch Trubisky who started 13 games. He started a long time in college and he just had an incredible year. So he's not a 1-year wonder. He did play in 2018 and before that.
For sure. And I mean, obviously like Miami is feeling good about the medicals, but like that's always got to be in the back of the head. What the heck? Like just in case. Obviously, like it's not affecting me much. He's my number 2. But it's just kind of in the back of your head. You have to.
It's a tiebreaker.
Yeah, it's a tiebreaker. Exactly. So to me, they're both extremely talented quarterbacks. I think they're both going to be top options in the league. I just think that Joe Burrow's situation is a little bit better at this point. Better weapons. I think he's going to start right away, like Bush said, and probably just going to reiterate most of Bush's points. I mean, yeah, these 2 are really close for me, so it's not like I'm bashing Tua when I say I prefer Burrow.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a 1A, 1B to me. I'll kind of just give my breakdown for both sides. So I'm going to start off with the hit rates, which are on the draft guide. Basically, that means we took since 2010 what pick they were drafted in the NFL draft and their chances of hitting in terms of fantasy finish. So every single quarterback since 2010 drafted in the top 5. There's only 4 of them. Every single one of them in their first year has hit a QB1, a top 12 QB in PPR. I mean, quarterbacks don't get affected by that. For top 10 quarterbacks, so Tua, there was 7 of them, 86% in their first year finished the QB1. I feel like we can kind of put Tua outside that because I don't think they're going to start him right away, but he could easily come in week 2 or 3 and still finish as a QB12. So there is that with Joe Burrow and Tua, like the hit rate part of it. You'd think Joe Burrow, at least immediately, I think year 1 he'll finish higher. But these are for dynasty, so you're playing long-term, obviously, with quarterbacks, whereas running backs and receivers, you can kind of manipulate the 1 year versus dynasty sort of outlook on them. And then as you go down the hit rate charts, you can see them on the site as well. The top 10 quarterbacks are actually more successful in year 3. 83% QB 102 finished to 67. To me, that kind of just means because top 5 quarterbacks are usually on worse teams. So that just kind of, in the long run, it might not work out for most of the teams. So that's kind of there. The Bengals ran 11 personnel, which is 1 running back, 1 tight end, 3 receivers, 74% of the time, which is very, very friendly to fantasy plays because that's obviously 3 receivers. But then they added a 4th receiver with T. Higgins. So they have a big mix. They're going to run a lot of 11 and 10 receiver sets, just like LSU did last year, and you saw it work for them. So they have that going for them. The only, I think the deciding factor to me was the O-line. And I know they added Jonah Williams. But even if he comes back fully healthy, the O-line's still not that great. So I still kind of have that pause.
Well, neither is Miami's, though. That's my point.
Yeah, I guess – yeah. It's just I don't know. That's why I say 1A, 1B, because either way, you're not getting a bad pick. If you need a quarterback right now, to start right away, you're taking Burrow. But if you can wait and sort of, I don't know, say you have Fitz, then I would go Tua. Just I think the long term for the Dolphins is better than maybe what the Bengals have to offer.
The mobility factor is something I forgot to mention too, because I think Tua can move, but Joe Burrow is a better athlete than Tua, in my opinion. I think he'll run more. That might be a hot take. I think Joe Burrow is a great athlete, and Tua, with the durability concerns, might be more hesitant to run as well. So
yeah, that's true.
To me, Burrow, it gives you maybe a bit more of a rushing floor than Tua does, and in terms of the O-line, it definitely benefits Burrow to the fact that he can run a little bit, so he can get out of trouble. We saw what Josh Allen did his rookie year with a shoddy offensive line. He was able to just escape pressure and pick up some scramble yards and stuff like that.
Heck, even Daniel Jones last year, obviously,
yeah, exactly,
he showed some inconsistency in terms of turnovers. But man, when he was on, he rolled out, he got some yards with his legs. He absolutely, I can see Joe Burrow having that type of impact year 1 because he's gonna turn the ball over year 1, but you're gonna accept it because he's just gonna make unbelievable plays. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I know I love Burrow. Again, these guys are literally splitting hairs. So
they're in the same tier.
You have a top 4 pick. You end up with either of them, or we'll get into the running backs with either of those running backs. In my opinion, you're parading, you're happy. So yeah.
All right, moving down on to our 3 and our 4. We have yet again another 50-50 split. I'm pretty sure the screen's going to say the same. So the top half, me and Tyler have Jacob Eason as our 3. The bottom half, Danny and Bush have Justin Herbert. So I'll give you guys the floor again, and let's battle it out, you could say.
Well, Justin Herbert has the draft capital. He's 6th overall pick. Even if he's not starting in the first 3 games, he's going to start for a good amount of the season simply because the Chargers are ready to absolutely just put him in. So I like Tyrod Taylor again. You take a few games, kind of similar to what Baker Mayfield was in Cleveland the year he was a rookie.
Not though, because it's the Browns and the Chargers. You have not raging success from both teams, but the Browns were a hopeless team who got a shoddy win from Baker, and then
and Baker only went in because of an injury against the Jets. So it's
here's my argument against that part that Tyler just made is that the Browns had Hugh Jackson as their coach, who was very much a proponent of you let the veteran play because he's a veteran. If Herbert is better than Tyrod, I'm pretty sure Anthony Lynn's going to start Herbert. So I think Herbert's a good player. So that could be just a talent discrepancy between me and Tyler that you don't believe in Herbert. I believe in Herbert. I think he's a good player. So the reason I have him here is, again, you're going to see a theme with me throughout this whole thing is I like to win leagues right away. I'm not a long-term guy. Herbert's going to start first, in my opinion. I don't think that's really a debate. I think he's going to start before Eason does.
Yeah.
Because I think Rivers is a solid quarterback, and I don't think he's going to be a train wreck to the point where they want to see what Eason can do. And I know Eason's in a great situation. The Colts have a great offensive line. They added some weapons, a new running back and all that. But it's not like Herbert's in a bad situation. He has a great receiver duo. He has Henry's on the franchise tag this year. He's got 2 good running backs.
Trey Turner's a good upgrade.
Yeah, the offensive line made some upgrades. Hopefully they add a veteran left tackle because they didn't draft one. But their offensive line's looking decent. They added Bulaga and Turner to it.
I was going to add to that too. I mean, in terms of situation, I think they're very comparable. I think Herbert's a better talent, and he's going to start right away.
And that's the rushing again. I'm going to harp on the rushing again because Herbert can run, and Eason can't. So,
but does that matter when you're sitting behind the 3rd best offensive line in the league?
No, but in terms of fantasy.
No, in terms of fantasy points, like just strictly fantasy points.
Well, I think he can do it with his arm. That's the thing. Like, yeah, a lot of guys do count on that mobility factor to get fantasy points, but he's just one of those guys that will put up a lot of yards, a lot of scores. Eason just has that with his arm. So yeah, he won't have that mobility factor, but he's behind one of the best offensive lines in the league. It's a perfect spot for him. I get behind it.
And Michael Pittman Jr. was a great ad for them, just for the
yeah,
record.
But the thing is, too, also with his weapons, they're not established yet, right? Like Hilton is, but he's also injury prone. And the other weapons they added are rookies, and you never know with rookies, especially with the whole coronavirus thing. Like if it takes them longer to acclimate or whatever. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are established weapons, and so is Hunter Henry and Austin Eckler. So you'd have to imagine the weapons at least are going to be more acclimated quicker in Los Angeles than they are in Indianapolis.
Yeah,
it's
to
me,
it's
a completely upside play. So you can look at it both ways. Herbert's going to play first, but says who? They were completely cool with running Tyrod Taylor. They made that very vocal right away.
Were they though? Because they wouldn't have drafted a quarterback at 6 overall if they were cool.
They only have one need, and they didn't address it. So obviously it wasn't that big of a need to them at O-tackle. They really didn't need anything else on their team. So they really didn't have any needs now that you look at it post-draft, because they would have drafted an offensive tackle if they thought they needed one, no matter what round it was.
I guess, but the whole like they were cool with Tyrod argument to me is the same as like the Dolphins liked Herbert better than Tua. It was a smokescreen. I don't think they actually are cool with Tyrod.
It was a smokescreen since free agency though. So like I mean, I guess
who are the Chargers gonna like shake out there? What the Giants were gonna take a quarterback? No.
That's
maybe they liked Herbert the best and they didn't want the Dolphins to take him.
For sure.
I mean, I guess that makes sense too. But like, I guess that's what I was gonna bring up next. Like, they didn't really have a threat. Not a threat, but they had no one. You could say the Jags maybe wanted a quarterback. Okay, they also didn't draft a single quarterback. Actually, started Jake Luton in like round 5 or 6, but Jake Luton.
Yeah.
The Patriots obviously didn't want a quarterback. They weren't trying to move up. They didn't get a single guy for Jarrett Stidham.
That one's crazy to me because now Winston signed with the Saints, obviously, as we're recording this video. The only quarterback on the market is Cam. Is he going there? Like,
different video for after it happens.
We'll get into that, but sorry.
No, the Colts have no quarterback under roster 2021. So their options are Jamie Newman or Brock Purdy in the middle of round 1 because they're not going to be bad. Were they bad last year? No, they had the 13th pick, and that was without Phillip Rivers. So they're going to be much better. They have a good team. They have Jonathan Taylor. They can go get Dak Prescott if he doesn't sign back, Mitchell Trubisky or Deshaun Watson, but they're on club options. I have a feeling as much as we think that Bill O'Brien's not signing Deshaun Watson back, it's most like 95% probably going to happen.
The owner's not letting Deshaun Watson go. He's just not.
So it's unless they really like Andy Dalton, Jameis Winston, Mitchell Trubisky, like it's Jacob Eason, or I guess maybe Jamie Newman or something. But if Jamie Newman's really as good as we think he is, he's not going to be there at the end of round 1 when they pick next year. So it's Eason all day behind a good O-line if Pittman hits, which I think he will. I think he's an NFL receiver.
I like him.
T.Y. maybe stays healthy. I don't know. I see both sides. I just think that we can't assume that Herbert's guaranteed to be in right away because no training camp. He's not going to battle it out. They're going to sign Tyrod. Or not sign. They're going to start Tyrod if there's no training camp. They're not going to throw in Herbert without playing in the offense. Tyrod should do fine on that offense. It's completely different from the Browns. He wasn't winning because he was on the Browns, and he got hurt. They're going to win with the Chargers. Obviously, they can play really hard opponents right away. But, like, I think Anthony Lynn's smart enough to see if they play the Chiefs and he loses, he's not just going to pull Tyrod out. Like, I just think that
it comes down to 3 things for me. It's who was drafted higher, which is Herbert, who's going to play sooner, which is Herbert, and those are the only 2 things that it comes down to, and that's kind of how I play Dynasty. The third thing was who did I think was more talented coming out, and that was Herbert. So
I was just about to mention that. I mean,
yeah,
I think they're comparable situations, and I think Herbert's A, a more talented player, B, has the draft capital, and C, is going to start sooner. So that was a tiebreaker for you.
That's the tiebreaker, yeah. And it'll be the same tiebreaker for our next guy as well.
Yeah,
for me.
Yeah, and 2, like with what I said with the last 2, I think Dynasty comes down to long-term quarterbacks, so you can cycle in vets, you stream vets all. So, like, it's just the way you play, I guess, too. And I see both sides. I like Herbert. I like the Chargers. I like the fit. We'll move down to we'll just go 5 and 6. I think these guys are both being able to talk about in Superflex or normal quarterback.
4 and 5.
Yeah, so we have Jalen Hurts or Taysom Hill Jr. now at number 5. The team that I probably would have put it at the bottom of the totem pole in terms of drafting a quarterback. Took one in round 2. So they took Jalen Hurts. The Eagles did.
Thank goodness.
Um,
I like that.
QBU now is kind of what they were trying to get at. I don't really know what's happening here. But if you look at it kind of post draft, why it might have happened, it makes sense. Think about Carson Wentz's last game. Seattle in the playoffs. He got hurt. We haven't heard any news about, one, if he's healthy, one, if he's still hurt. We don't know what's going to happen. They said they want to use Jalen Hurts in sort of a Taysom Hill-esque role, so he's going to get playing time. But to me, I like him at 5 here because, well, 1, the other 4 are going to play guaranteed sometime soon. And him at 5 because Wentz, I mean, he gets hurt. And if he gets hurt, you bring in Jalen Hurts behind a good offensive line. He can run with an above-average defense. I think it's a good value at 5 here. We don't have – well, do people have Jordan Love ahead of him? I don't even think.
I do.
Tyler does.
I do.
Yeah, so you guys can go ahead then.
I will take I will take the chance that the opportunity will go to Jordan Love over Jalen Hurts, who has the talent of Taysom Hill, playing the Taysom Hill role. So 100%, I'm just going to say, here we go. Let's go in on Love. Let's go in on the chance the Packers bail on Rodgers. Rodgers is not going to be happy. That's for damn sure. We can guarantee that one. So we know that there's already going to be issues there, and we talked about it pre-video that LaFleur's going to want to go. I think he's trying to revamp the offense, trying to build it like he wants it. And Rodgers was obviously there before LaFleur was. So we're seeing kind of a setup of what LaFleur wants to run for his future. And I think that's going to involve Jordan Love, and I think it's going to be quicker than most people want to have him as. So I have him above Hurts. And that's really on how much I believe in the talent for Love over what I believe in Hurts, because I just don't believe that the overall talent matters. Not the overall talent is there for Hurts because it's just not. He doesn't have the arm. Sure, he can run, but Taysom Hill can run. I mean, they're the same player in my eyes. I don't see long term or even right now Love being behind Hurts ever.
Sorry. I'll
Sure.
Jordan Love I have rated higher than both Eason and Hurts actually.
Same.
I thought Jordan Love is in a better situation. Again, I'm going to use the draft capital argument. He's a first-round pick. Also the talent argument. I just personally believe he's more talented than Eason and Hurts. And like Tyler said, I think the change in Green Bay could be coming sooner than people think. They might initially see this and be like, oh, Aaron Rodgers is going to be there for 2-3 more years and Jordan Love's not going to play for a while. I think it could be more similar to what Alex Smith did in Kansas City when they drafted Mahomes. I think Alex Smith had a great year that year. Let's not forget that. That year that they had Mahomes in the wings, if Jordan Love is impressing the coaching staff, they'll move on from Rodgers.
Yeah.
They'll favor the young guy because it's a new regime there. They drafted Jordan Love. And Rodgers, we all know he's like a bit of a prickly personality. Maybe they get sick of it. Maybe they want the young guy. Pardon?
Get rid of the toxicity.
Yeah, exactly. And Aaron Rodgers, we made a bust video about a month ago that Aaron Rodgers was going to be a bust where he was drafting, because Aaron Rodgers hasn't really been the same Aaron Rodgers for like 2 or 3 years now. So maybe the coaching staff and the front office saw that as well, and that's why they went and got Love.
That's a big bugaboo for me because all these Packers fans are talking like it's 2013. Because if you watch Aaron Rodgers last year,
13-3, so.
Oh, yeah, I get that, but
it wasn't because of Rodgers. Like it was, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
like he was bad. Like from a film standpoint, from a statistical standpoint, like he was clearly regressed last year. He clearly regressed. These Packers fans are like, Aaron Rodgers, top 5 quarterback in the league. Big time. I was like, I get that. If it's 2013, 2014, go ahead and make that take. But he's clearly not the same player. As hard as it for me to say that, because from a talent standpoint, when he was at his peak, I have him as a top 5 quarterback of all time. I think he was incredible. He's not even remotely close to that player anymore. So these Packers fans, again, like Eagles fans, Packers fans, same bugaboo. Like
Cowboys fans, don't leave yourself out. You guys are
it's all the same difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. I think that can easily change for me if we hear more on the whole, like, whatever the hell's happening in Green Bay. Yeah, but he got the best landing spot. I know we all said that when it happened. Like, we all agreed that was the best possible landing spot, just due to I don't even want to say the team's better because if you like look at it, the team's not really better. Just like the franchise and like the fan base and just the overall like landscape of Green Bay. So I don't mind that spot at all.
From Jordan Love's perspective, though, I think the Colts would have been a better landing spot for him personally.
Yeah,
those are the top two in my opinion.
I kind of like it though. I think he'll kind of come in with the chip on his shoulder, be like, I can beat out Aaron Rodgers. Like they obviously believe in me type thing. Like with Mahomes and the Chiefs, that's a perfect comp because
I just think the coaching staff's better in Indianapolis. That's kind of the reason I would say they're a better landing spot for Jordan Love.
Fair.
Yep.
And plus, long term, apparently Green Bay doesn't realize that they need a receiver. They didn't take a single one, and one of the best draft classes I've ever seen.
I mean, they didn't need one last year when they went 13-3. So
that's a good point.
But like, they needed a backup tight end before a receiver. Like that didn't make sense at all to me.
Not even the backup yet. They don't even have a starter right now.
They chased Sternberger, the boy.
Yeah. Okay. So the next, we'll just read off the next on our list. We won't even break him down here. So we have Jake Fromm, James Morgan, Jake Luton, and I'm sorry, Tyler, no Anthony Gordon. Cole McDonald is our 10.
You want to come at me like that? Like, are you serious? Like, I'm sitting here
I had Anthony Gordon QB9. It's not my fault.
I'm crying. I'm crying in the 7th round because he's not getting picked. And you're just going to come out here and just heavy swing. You're going to, the bear from Inglourious Basterds, just bash me over the head. Like, what is this?
Hey, from a talent standpoint, I don't disagree. But, I mean, I'll take the guy who got drafted.
I mean, apparently, I think what it came down to is he didn't have a cool mustache and wear jorts, so the people didn't think he's actually that good when he is better than Gardner Minshew.
He's better than Gardner Minshew.
He was my quarterback 6.
Mustache and jorts, so that's what it came down to, and he didn't go 5-11 or 4-12 last year. But so that is our consensus rankings. We'll update them as we go. We'll work them into our dynasty rankings eventually, probably next week.
On Fromm real quick.
Yep.
So here's my little case for him. This guy is going to be in the league probably as long, if not longer, than most of the quarterbacks on this list. And that is purely based on he is going to be Brian Hoyer. He is going to be the best backup option that money can buy. He will be in the league for a long time. He is a poised presence for a backfield. If you're a system that just needs a guy to go out there and do something for you, Jake Fromm is a really good quarterback for that. Will he lead a team to victory? Not necessarily, but he has that poised presence that he can actually be quite effective at the next level. I am very pro Jake Fromm to the Bills. Honestly, he may add some stuff to Josh Allen's game to kind of better him along with that coaching staff. So I back it.
The problem I have with him, is we said the exact same thing about Kellen Moore. We said the exact same thing. He's similar. I mean, what really differentiates them in terms of
play? Throws with the right hand.
That's similar.
Georgia State.
Right hand versus left hand.
Right. I think Jake Fromm is going to be fine for a real life backup quarterback thing. As far as fantasy, I could care less. I don't think he's going to be useful in fantasy whatsoever. So.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, if Josh Allen gets hurt, I think he would actually make that offense better because he's actually like kind of accurate. So like, Josh Allen works because he can move.
Unless he's got to throw outside the numbers, he's accurate.
That's true. Yeah. It's kind of funny because they're 2 completely different quarterbacks, but I think it was a steal at that pick. I think it was really good.
5th rounder. I mean, slide him in as a backup. I agree. Thing that I don't get about Jake Fromm is people want to say he's accurate because of the lack of arm strength, but if you actually like looked at the numbers, he was one of the least accurate in terms of like the top options like in the draft.
Well, you can't really take too much into the numbers because they had like 3 rookies playing last year who just dropped a shit ton of balls. So it was like –
And Lawrence Cage.
Hey, you shut the fuck up, Lawrence Cage.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Did he end up signing anywhere, Cager?
Yes, he went to the Jets. He's going to be the number 3 wide receiver. Next question.
All righty. So those are our quarterback consensus rankings. We have running backs coming out tomorrow, then receivers, then tight ends. And Friday we're going to do a rookie mock draft just to show our big board is kind of what it will show. So subscribe, like the video, fscdraftguide.com. Go check it out. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.